Tell them a little bit about you, and yeah, tell them a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so just a quick, like, kind of personal note. So I just very recently moved from New York City down to Orlando and just hanging out, waiting for my second hurricane. So in
I was
like
just
six
talking about
weeks, I
that.
had two hurricanes. So I'm starting to feel like it's a little personal.
Yes, Shari, it's your fault that they're getting hurricanes. Definitely.
Absolutely. But so I am a holistic health and hormone coach for midlife women. And my philosophy really is, uh, first of all, during midlife, so many women really kind of struggle with that stubborn weight gain, along with just a bunch of other issues like sleeplessness, brain fog, mood swings, and so I really do see so many times that the foundation of this is a hormonal imbalance.
Hmm.
So I like to approach this more naturally, more holistically. And I've just kind of started to bring into my practice also because I'm seeing such good success with it. But this idea of really self love and self acceptance, because until you embrace that fully, it is so difficult to really go ahead and achieve your health goals that
Amen.
it's more aligned and you know just healthy place to start than just to worry about what you're putting on your plate and how many reps you're lifting at the gym.
I could not agree more. Like, I don't think that we can hate ourselves into the body we want, right?
Yes.
It doesn't. I tried it for like 20 years. It does not work at
Right.
any age.
No, and exactly. And I think until you're happy with who you are, where you are in this present moment, you aren't going to reach that level of happiness and acceptance with yourself, even if you lose 20 pounds. It's not waiting for you on the other side of the 20
Right?
pounds.
The 20 pounds, boom. Oh, now I'm happy. Shari is actually so right. And it's sad but true because I know I lived it. I mean, I didn't live it. Now I'm living the hormone stuff, unfortunately, but I lived it in my 20s. And I thought, like so many women, if I just lose the weight, then my life will be exactly as it'll be perfect then, right? Or I'll be happy
Mhm.
then, or blah, blah, blah. And then I lost the weight and I was still me. It was very disappointing,
Yeah.
FYI.
So I'm trying to cut out that whole, like, if I do this, then I will either have this or feel this way or be able to do this. So, yep, we're going to cut that out right at the beginning and really learn to love ourselves so that
Mm.
we can be healthy from the get go while we're on the journey to, where we really want to be in our health.
Oh, I love that. And so, Shari, tell them a little bit about when you and I met. Where were you at?
So it was so fascinating. I
Right.
am a big believer in listening to the universe, believing that the universe is going to give you what you need when you need it. And I had recently started to feel like my level of coaching wasn't where I wanted it to be. Every time I got off a call, I just thought to myself, how can I do better? What could I have done differently? And I just kept thinking to myself, I just wish I could find like a great coaching program for coaching. And I kid you not, Rachel, like 2 days later, you popped up in my Facebook feed.
The
And
universe.
I was like, I have to jump on because you were offering that complimentary
Yeah.
round round robin. Try to get that out, and I had such a blast during that time. And then you and I had the one on one,
Yeah.
and I think we could have just talked for hours because I
Agreed.
fell in love with you and your personality and your energy and just your whole approach to coaching. It just was completely aligned with what I wanted my coaching to take in the next step and in the next evolution. So
Oh,
yeah, it just, I was like an immediate yes. I just listened to my intuition, accepted the signs from the universe and hopped right in. And it has been one of the best decisions I think I could have made for my business.
okay, so you kind of just started to answer my next question, but that's
Mm-hmm.
okay. That's kind of what happens. Like we start to read each other's minds. No, I'm just kidding. That's what happens when you're no. So, Shari, tell them though. Like what for you? Because I think it's a little bit different for. Obviously, we're all unique. We're all different. What resonates for some people might not resonate for others, and that's okay. That's why, thank God, right? There
Mm-hmm.
are like programs like this are out there, but there are. I'm sure there are other ones. So, what far, because we're about halfway through,
Mm-hmm.
what so far would you say has been like, yeah, like lighting you up the most? I don't know. I don't even know the words.
Oh my gosh. I think for me, what's really kind of lighting me up is you have had this talent for creating such a safe container for me that I'm becoming more confident in my coaching skills, but even more so, I'm usually like the girl who's going to like kind of sit in the back of the class and let everybody else raise their hand. And I'm getting better at raising my
You
hand
are
and
raising your
saying,
hand all
I'll
the time,
go.
girl.
And there have been some very, very clunky peer coaching sessions. But the great thing is I never left that call thinking I just made a fool of myself. I left the call going, wow, I learned so much because you absolutely have that ability to be like, okay, well, let's talk about this. And, this is what you did great. And, this is where you can have room for improvement. And I also love the idea of you always say like, let's kind of like look at, how to approach a situation, how to question it, you know, different like moments where it kind of signals like, hey, this is a great spot to start to go deeper into a coaching session. And those are things that weren't always so obvious to me. And as we're going through this program, more and more, it's like it is becoming more obvious to me.
Yeah.
And as I'm listening, my listening skills are getting so much better. And again, I'm starting to get out of my head and really being present and really being able to be there for the coachee and kind of start to pick up on things. And it's interesting because sometimes you'll spot something where maybe I've missed it and I'll be like, oh yeah, I totally missed that. And then there's other times where I'm like, ooh, I kind of thought about that too, but I wasn't sure. So it's
Mm,
that nice reinforcement of my own intuition that when I
yes.
feel like maybe I should go deeper with something or a different way with something, and you chime in and you sort of have that same idea. It's like such a confidence boost.
I am so glad you just said that, Shari, because that's something that I think when people are sometimes shy away, actually, because they're like almost a little afraid of feedback. And I get it because I was one of those people. But what Shari just said too is that feedback actually is validating her intuition and me validating her intuition allows her to validate her intuition. It's not that she needs me to, but we are still human. And let's be real, who doesn't love a good dose, a shot of validation? Like, right? If we could literally drink it, wouldn't that be amazing? But it's like, yeah, it's like I think as humans, I think sometimes in the coaching industry, it can kind of get a little bit, and maybe it's not just in the coaching industry. I've just seen it a lot over the last couple of years in the coaching industry that like, you don't need validation. Just validate yourself. You don't need validation. Just validate yourself. And yes, that's true. And let's not take away that we're still humans as coaches
Mm-hmm.
and humans thrive off of that validation. And I think when our coach intuition is being validated. Not like, oh, you did such a good job, but like, oh yeah, I thought that too. It's like
Mhm.
that. I don't know about for you, Shari, but I know for me, it was like, oh, it almost gave me permission to start to trust it more.
Exactly, exactly. And just the other thing I thought of too is it's very interesting because I don't know if just as humans, this is where our mind naturally goes, but you always think like during a coaching session, like, let's coach on what you're having problems with. Let's coach about, a negative situation. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you have totally given permission to like, hey, sometimes it's like amazing to coach around the positive things.
Yeah.
And this kind of circles back to that whole idea of even with a client, if you're giving them like the validation that their intuition, their decision making is getting stronger, they're going to get more confident. And like that is like the whole goal of coaching is to give
Yes.
them the confidence so that they can go out and create the life that they want without always having to second guess themselves and come back to you and say, well, is this a good idea? Can we talk
Yeah.
about this? Should I do this? So it's really, I never ever thought about like coaching around the positive, which is, now that I think about it, almost silly because of
Well,
course that makes sense. But
but
you
don't
opened
you
my
think,
eyes to
Shari,
that.
that it's not as, I don't know about with your experience with like other programs and certifications, but it is focused mostly on problems. So, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, the therapy world is focused on problems. The healing world, I mean, I think our world is focused. I mean, let's be honest, as humans, we are problem solvers. Thank goodness it's how we've evolved. So we tend, I think, our brains to be more in that direction in general. And I remember someday somebody, I forget which coach gave me that permission too. And
Mm-hmm.
it was mind blowing. Like, because I come from the therapy background and I was like, wait a minute, we don't have to just talk about problems. Oh my God, this is amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So that has given me also a lot of feeling of being more free and confident in a coaching session because I don't have to always be like, okay, well, you know what, let's get this bus back on like on
So
track
get
and
back
talk
on the
about something
problem track.
bad that's happening. So yeah, I love the celebrating the good.
That. And what would you say? And maybe you kind of said this, I don't know, maybe there's another way. Like, if there's like stuck out the most, or there's a takeaway the most, what would it be? Like, or maybe let me say it a different way because you kind of said that, but like, what would you say has been your favorite part of the container?
It's funny. I'm going to say those round robins that we do. And the crazy thing is before we started this, because I've been in other peer
Mm-hmm.
coaching groups, and I'm like, it's not like they weren't lovely, filled with lovely people, but I literally would have so much anxiety like running in my chest. And I used to always think to myself, well, maybe like I actually started to like learn how to like skirt around where it's just like, well,
Mm.
I don't have to like raise my hand and be a part of it, or I don't have to think of like, if I'm the coachee, what are we going to talk about? I now look so forward to these coaching sessions with the
Yeah.
peers that anxiety doesn't exist with you. And again,
What
I
do
think
you,
it goes back to what I said. You create such this like safe space, which is great, but even better is it's the safe space with this huge amount of learning and teaching and ideas that I've actually never been exposed to. So
mm.
for me, it's really exciting. I love it.
Oh my God. I think it's so funny. I ask that question almost all the time on these calls. And I would say 70% of the people have said that same exact thing, that they love the round robin. And I have to be honest that the round robin calls actually came out of selfishly what I was wanting. So
Mm-hmm.
when I was early on and got started, I really wanted a place where I could just come and practice and feel completely safe to fumble and stumble on my words and be like, wait, stop, let's start over again. Let me take this in a And I
Mhm.
really craved that and I couldn't find it. Like I had been in containers where, like you said, there was peer coaching, but it never felt, I also was so anxious and I would avoid like,
Yeah.
don't let me be called on, please don't call on me. But I wanted to somehow create a space where wanted to raise their hand and wanted to be called on. And I am
Mhm.
like, honestly, my heart smiles so big hearing that from you, that it feels like that for you. Like it doesn't, I don't, I mean, there's enough anxiety provoking things in life. We definitely don't need to be like, this does not need to be one of them. And if
Mhm.
anything, I think the whole intention of it is for it not to be, because the more comfortable you get in doing this, and I want to say that coaching in front of a group full of people is can be anxiety provoking. Let's be real. You got a bunch of faces on a screen staring at you. You know everyone's going to be coming up with feedback for you,
Mhm.
of course. But I think to a degree that helps also build a sense of like confidence and a sense of like inner strength almost.
I agree, and but also, it's one of those kind of how they always say, like, you attract the
Mm,
people that you like to work with and who kind of align with you.
100%.
So not only have you created this amazing container, but it's filled with these amazing women.
They are really amazing.
So, yeah, so it's one of those, even though I've never met any of them in real life, there's never that feeling of, oh, she's going to think I'm weird, or she's going to
Mm-mm.
be like, wow, that was a bad coaching session. You might want to like look for another, occupation. I've never felt that way ever.
Mm.
So,
I think you're right. I mean, I do agree. Like, I think we do attract, I think there's an, I think 99% of the time when people buy into a program, it actually has more to do with energy than almost anything else. And
hmm
I think that's why I am so grateful there are so many programs actually out there, because not everyone is going to be energetically attracted to me, right? Like,
right.
my energy, I say fuck a lot. So like to some people that's just right. So to some people, that's like, eh. But that's just a part of the Northern Army who
hmm
kind of says it as it's, but right. Like, and I think the beautiful thing is that's the same thing for you, right, Shari? Like, there'll be certain people that come into your container. And I think, along the way, there's definitely been some people that I've attracted. I don't know how I attracted, because we definitely were not an energetic match. Let's just be real. But I also do think that the more you do anything, also the more that like fine tunes too.
hmm Yeah, and I've definitely, to what you were just saying, I've learned from you that before I was trying to not offend anyone. So I think I was
Mm,
coming off very vanilla and plain, and sort of like my personality wasn't really there. And
yeah.
now, as my confidence is growing, now I'm like, oh, okay, I can actually like show up completely as myself, fully in my personality, and kind of have that feeling like it's okay, energetically, if we're a match, amazing. And if not, that's okay too.
Yeah. Oh my God, I love that. Permission to just be you. Yeah, it's taken me
hmm
quite some time to get to that place. And actually one of the ladies who's hopefully attending the live event that hopefully is not going to get hit over by Hurricane Nicole, she was like, "So what should we pack?" And I was like, "Whatever you're comfortable in." And she's like, "Well, I know some events like they want you to dress like formal, like dress nice, like dress like
hmm
you would." And I'm like, "Oh, no, no, no. If you want to wear your underwear and your bra and hang around the house like that, I do not care. Like I plan on being comfortable, and I'm not like suits. Like I'm wearing jeans and a shirt right now, right? Like I'm not gonna. That's just not who I am. I want you to like if we're going to be in a learning environment, I just think you should be you. Like I know there's some coaches
Yeah.
out there, some schools of thought that you have to show up super professional, and I'm just like, yeah, I mean, I'm not saying, I mean, I don't necessarily show up on my calls in underwear and a bra, but like, yeah, be comfortable. Although we did have a conversation, right, Shari, the other day about how pants are actually optional these days with Zoom. No one really knows if you're wearing pants.
No one has any idea.
Just don't get up. Just not
Exactly.
wearing anything. That's what we all discovered. Anyways, so Shari, if someone was listening right now and, they're maybe on the fence or thinking about like joining a program like Live Your Dharma, or maybe joining Live Your Dharma because the next cohort does start at the end of the month,
Mhm.
what would be like advice to them?
I would say if you are at that point of your coaching where you feel like your skills aren't where they want to be, you want to be a part of this very open, I'm going to say free spirited community.
I would agree.
And,
I mean, pants are
and
optional, so come on. No,
pants
I'm
are
just kidding.
optional. So, it's like, come on, I'm ready to like just put daisies in my hair and like run around naked. And also, the other huge thing is I know there are some coaching programs that have enormous number of students in their cohorts. And with you, it's very small and very intimate. So there is no, oh, is Rachel going to have enough time for my question? Am I going to get enough attention from her? Is there going to be enough time for me to practice coaching? Is there none of that? You, as much time as I need from you, whether it's a question about business, about coaching, whether I'm just having a really shitty
Hmm.
day and I just want to kind of cry, you got me. So
Yeah.
that is probably right there worth so much to me, is that very small, intimate cohort.
Oh, I love that you shared that with them because I think it is true. I do keep the group small. Even if I get like tons of applications, I still keep the group small. I'm not one of those people. Like, there's people out there that I know that are trying to like scale and work less. I was
Mhm.
actually sharing this with my friend Elizabeth on a chat earlier today. I think it was her, with someone today, that I don't want that actually. Like,
Mhm.
I don't want so much idle time. It's like for me, I'm gonna be honest, it's too much time in my head, and then I get kind of cray cray. So I love coaching. It's what I want to be doing all the time. I
Mhm.
would much rather have like 50 applicants and have 5 groups of 10. There's no
Yeah.
way I would put everybody in one, not because I can't handle it, but because I love this work. And I want everyone, like Shari said, I want everyone to feel like they're getting what they came for, they're being taken care of. And I
Mhm.
also do really believe that this work, part of how you grow your confidence is doing the damn thing. And if there's 50 people, you get to hide. Let's be real.
Absolutely.
If there's 5 or 10, it's gonna be much harder to hide.
Yeah. And no one's going to call you out with a group of 50 saying, hey, we haven't heard from you in a
No,
while. You will call me out if you have not heard from me in a bit. You'll be like, hey, what's going on
no.
over there?
If you haven't coached in the last like weeks, I'm like, okay, Shari's going today.
So it has been, I was going to say, and I actually, oh gosh, it was like one of the last Zooms that I was on before I went on my trip. I like private messenger, private messengered you how much I love this program.
3 times fast.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, it's just, it has not, I've never had buyer's remorse. And you
Oh,
genuinely do love coaching. Like you light up when you coach. So it's so evident.
oh, thank you, Shari. Yeah, I really do. I mean, I think it's one of those things that when you find anyone like you, Shari, me, like when you find something that has had such an impact on your own life, it's like you just exude from it and you just want to do it and share it and talk about it to the point where everyone in your family tells you to just shut the fuck up, leave me alone. I don't want to be coached on this. Just can't help yourself sometimes. Anyways, at least in my world. But yeah. Well, thank you so much, Shari, for coming on and telling everyone about your experience so far in the Live Your Dharma program. If you're listening and you are in that, say like perimenopausal is like what, 35 ish,
Really like kind of like 35 and up is kind of when
35 and
it
up, and
starts to like really
yeah,
hit.
and you're struggling a bit, either, with the hormone shifts. Hello, I'm one of those people. The night sweats, the weight gain, well, I haven't had the weight gain, thank God, but the other stuff, then you really, really, really need to reach out to Shari, because I can tell you now from personal experience, having witnessed her coaching, like it's just not like, oh, I've heard she's a great coach. No, no, no. I've witnessed her coaching other people. So that's one of the other reasons I love this program, is now when people come to me, I can be like, oh no, I know. Like there's not without a doubt that they've got you, right? Because I can feel so confident in their skills, their abilities, what I've been able to observe. But Shari's got you. If you that's you right now, you've got to click on her bio, message her, have a conversation with her, because there's no reason anybody should be going through this world, guys, really on your own, in my opinion. We all evolved. The reason we're all here is because we supported each other. And I think sometimes we forget that. I think sometimes we think, I know I did. I know when I used to own my yoga studios, like, no, I can do it all on my own. I don't need anyone's help. It was a very like self, I don't even know, self sacrificing. Like it's almost like it's like you're less than if you need support or something. And that's just such bullshit, because support, it's not because necessarily anything's wrong with you. And yes, you probably can do it on your own. We're not saying that, but if we can do it faster, more efficiently, we can get there quicker. You can be, for in this case with Charlotte, like you can be in your body in a more content, in a more peaceful place, like that you deserve. We all deserve that. So if you're listening, please reach out to Shari. She's truly an amazing woman.
Thank you.
And if you're listening and you're a coach and you're like really craving this type of support, this type of community where you get lots of practice reps in, right, Shari? You get lots of juicy feedback, both on the positive and on the side of how to grow, right? Like I'm very big, I really believe we need both. And you want a place where no matter what you're going through that day, that you could also get coached on, then I really want to encourage you to apply for the November cohort. Got about 2.5 weeks, I think, left. Just because you apply doesn't mean you're joining us. It's just an application. And then we actually have a conversation, as Shari mentioned, because I want to make sure this is the right fit for you. I don't really want anyone joining if this is not what's in their best interest or in the group's best interest. And if it's not, I am got lots of resources and will definitely send you out with other alternatives. And if it is, we will 100% celebrate you and welcome you in. And if that is something right now that you're like, oh, like Shari, the universe has just you clicked on and this is what this conversation is about, then the link is in my bio. Let the universe be right here with you, supporting you, as I believe it is me, and I think Shari believes it is for her too.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'm going to let Miss Shari go and let you all go. Have a fantastic rest of your Tuesday. And please, everyone, pray with me that Hurricane Nicole goes way in a different direction. We need her to go away. Like, Shari, we're both there in that boat. Hurricane Nicole, we do not want you. If you have any questions for me or Shari, please don't hesitate to reach out to either one of us. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Thank you, Shari. I love you.
Love you. Bye.